Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Birminology. I am Jeremy Birmingham. Today, we are talking with Ohio State target in the class of 2025, cornerback Devin Sanchez. Devin is one of the best players in the nation and a player that is very high on Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, and others. Ohio State hosted him for a visit a week ago where he got to spend a lot of time with Tim Walton, Ryan Day, and the rest of the Buckeye staff. And we're going to talk to Devin about that, his overall recruiting experience, and what draws him to the Buckeyes as he tries to parse through a recruitment that will have him with opportunities from anywhere he wants to go. So enough of me. Let's get to Devin Sanchez. As promised, Devin Sanchez joins us now. Devin, thank you first and foremost for taking some time to join the show and give us a little insight into who you are, what makes Ohio State interesting to you, and where you're at in your recruitment. So thanks a lot.
2025 corner Devin Sanchez, like you said, 5-star. And then Ohio State. Just Coach Walton and Coach Day, the love that they're showing to me when I've been down there twice. It's just gotten stronger, and I feel like the relationship I build with them is becoming like a real relationship, and it's becoming stronger.
Let's talk about that visit. You were in town on the 20th of June, hanging out pretty much exclusively with Tim Walton the whole day, side by side. What is it about that visit specifically that maybe felt like a little bit different for you or helped you connect with Coach Walton and Coach Day a little bit better?
Just Coach Walton pulling me aside and, getting that extra work in with me in the indoor, and him going over the steps that he goes over with his players now. That shows me that coach really that he really wants me to come there, and he wants to put his hands on me and, help me get to that next level. And then Coach Day, I just feel like talking with him and getting a better relationship with him and filling him out and things like that it just helps with this recruiting process.
Now, I think a lot of times, Devin, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a 5-star prospect, so I don't get the treatment that you do when you go on the road.
Yeah.
I would imagine at times, because of your recruiting profile and how lofty your rankings are, that coaches maybe don't coach you as hard as they normally would someone else.
Yeah.
And again, I could be wrong. Did you feel that Tim Walton was coaching you harder than you expected at that camp? It seemed like he was going pretty good at you because you're a 5-star. You know everything, right? It's got to feel good to have a coach that actually is pulling at you.
He showed me. Well, I feel like going there at the camp and being there with all those DBs that were there. He showed me the same amount of love that he showed everybody when we were out there. And feel like in the indoor, that's when he kind of let loose and he kind of treated me like I was a player there. And he coached me hard. If I messed up, he was on me, wanted me to redo it, wanted me to get it right. And I feel like that's what I need. And like you said, some coaches think because I'm a 5-star, I don't need the extra work that everybody else needs. But I feel like at the end of the day, everybody has the same goal. And, my goal is to make it to college, and then everything goes just playing 3 years and then get out of there.
Devin, if for those who are uninitiated, 6'2.5", 175, 180 pound corner from North Shore High School in Houston. It's how does a player, like, when did this happen for you? I guess is the question. Did you know 4 years ago that you were going to be this guy? Was it like you woke up one day last summer and all of a sudden you could play football at this level? How did this happen?
It just came. It just came, like you said. It just came. I was just that kid that was like everybody else playing football, wanting to, get that shine. And going into high school, I didn't know nothing about stars or really offers and nothing like that. I didn't know too much. And then when my first offer came in, I thought I was like, okay, I just got an offer. Okay, I got a couple offers coming in. And then I had going on to my sophomore year, I had like 12 offers. But it is what it is. And then I think just after that sophomore season, it just shot up. And that's just, it's not just me. That's God. That's why I'm blessed to have this opportunity. And just the level of that I play at North Shore. And the coaches, they stay on us hard over there. So I feel like just the work I've put in and things like that has helped me get to this opportunity to have this many offers and to play ball at that next level that most people don't get.
Watching you at camp last week, obviously it's a camp setting. It's not a lot of real football. There's some one-on-one work that gets done. There's an opportunity to watch footwork, but at your size, running like a 10-7 and 100, it's a rare athletic blend that you have.
Yeah.
And I know then with that gift that you have, you're looking for a place that is going to develop you in a different kind of way, because you're going to be able to pick from any school in the country.
Yeah.
How do you decide what really matters for you and your family? How do you guys pick apart this process and separate the fluff and the stuff that doesn't really matter from the things that do?
Just the relationship that I have with not only my position coaches, like the safety coach and the corner coach, but also the head coach and other position coaches. I feel like if you can have a relationship with other position coaches, like that's a big plus right there. And I mean, that's what my family's big on, and my mom is also big on. If you get hurt, will that coach still love you like he did when you wasn't hurt? And I feel like that's a big thing too. That's gonna show me where's home, and I feel like that's what I look at right now. That's big in my recruitment is the relationship I build with not just my coach, but other coaches too. And then that's what I look at.
With a coach like Ryan Day, obviously he's a younger head coach, considerably younger than Nick Saban, for example, who I know you're pretty high on Alabama as well.
Yeah.
How much of an impact does that play in the, like, as you start to weigh out each coach? Like, Ryan Day is going to be there, for however many years that you're in college, if you chose Ohio State. So when you're talking to him, does it feel different knowing that he's a little bit younger and can relate a little differently?
I mean, it really doesn't really bother me about his age, but I mean, like you said, he's a young coach, and I mean, he's been to a national championship with Ohio State, and I feel like the type of guys they put out on both sides of the ball is just as equal as Alabama. But I mean, Nick Saban's probably going to retire in a couple of years.
At some point he's got to, right?
Yeah, he's got to retire. I mean, he can't do this forever. But I feel like my parents, they're really big on that too. And going to Alabama is also Nick Saban may retire, because I don't think Coach Day's gonna retire no time soon. So that's another thing. That's another big factor in what I look at in my recruitment is, that coach been there for forever, and Coach Day, he's mid-30s, 40s. Coach Saban's in his 70s. So, just got to look at the age. And I feel like Coach Day, the relationship I've built with him, and just, like you said, being a younger coach, I feel like he can connect more with me on certain things than Nick Saban can, because he's, older coach, old school coach. He's been doing it for a little minute. So that's just, you got to look at it like that.
Yeah, obviously both of them are having a lot of success, and so their individual approaches are working. But one of the things that I thought was interesting last week watching you at camp was that very few times have I seen Brian Hartline talk to a cornerback at a camp, for example.
Yeah.
And he was paying some interest in you and talking to you. Obviously, Brian Hartline as a recruiter is one of the best in the country, and it's not hard to see that based on the results. But as a defensive back, when you look across the field and you see Marvin Harrison, for example, probably outside of Caleb Williams, probably the best player in college football. Do you think it matters that, like, at Ohio State, for example, that those dudes across from you would be that level?
I mean, like, that's another thing too, that you want to have guys that you're going against as NFL ready. And I feel like Coach Hartline does a good job at that, having those NFL ready guys, like the dudes he got coming in, like Jeremiah Smith. That's an NFL ready dude right now. I feel like the body he has, 6'4", 210. I mean, going against him that's just hard. And then the dudes they got now, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, those dudes gonna be first round draft picks too, just as well. And I mean, him pulling me aside after the camp and talking to me it kind of opened my eyes a little bit too, because like you said, he doesn't talk to too many corners. He worries about his side of the ball, and I feel like he wants me there to go against those guys that we can have each other ready.
As you start to, I don't want to say wind down this process because it's June. You have, 18 months essentially till you have to sign a letter of intent anywhere. How do you start to move ahead? And what Again, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but let's assume that Ohio State and Alabama are two of those teams that are going to be in the mix for you until signing day. What else are you looking for? What else do you need to see before you can feel comfortable with the idea of really beginning to make a decision?
Really, I've seen everything I needed to see between those two schools. And I mean, it's just this upcoming season and seeing how they move, especially not just the offense, but I'm really looking more towards the defense and to see how they react this year. And, they lost some big dudes, some key roles. So, I mean, it's just me looking this season to see what the defense is like. And I would be down at both of those schools to check out the defense. I mean, I'm going to be at some games, so I'm going to see what they're talking about. And that's going to play a big factor in this upcoming season.
With the Ohio State defense, obviously the cornerbacks have always been sort of the pride of the defense. The last couple of years, they've been doing a little bit different stuff. It hadn't had really the man corners that they needed on the outside to make difference at that spot. Now with Davis and Igbenogson, with Jordan Hancock, it looks like they're going back to that. I assume that's part of the conversation with you, is that you're the type of guy who can just put on an island and go out there and play. Did you get a chance to talk with Jim Knowles at all about his defense and how you'd fit? I mean, where do you see yourself fitting in that style of play?
I mean, like, I'm a long corner, so I feel like they can throw me out there on that island one-on-one with any dude, and it'll be fine, and they wouldn't have no worries about me going out there. And then I also can play that off position too. I know how to play a little bit of off man zone, so I feel like Coach Knowles, he told me that I play a big factor in this defense at that corner position. But also just because I'm that 6'3" corner and I'm long, physical, rangy, I know how to move. I move my hips fine, and I can run with I think I can run with any receiver that's out there. So, I mean, I play a big role in that defense.
Well, obviously, being a top cornerback requires a ton of confidence, and you should have that based on everything that's happened already at this point in your life. If you had the opportunity to write the script for your recruitment, the way it goes from here, Devin, like, is it official visits? Is it decide as soon as you're ready? Is it, make a decision on signing day? How would you want to see this play out?
Take my official visits. And I mean, I'm planning on taking them this upcoming season. So once I get my school schedule, I can plan out those official visits. But I mean, that's my plan right now. Take these officials this season, and then see what the relationship is like down there with these coaches. And then upcome my senior season, then, I take a couple more visits up there, see what it's like. And then by then, I plan on committing probably mid-season my senior year. And then, I plan on being the mid-year to wherever I go. So, and then after I commit and after my senior season, I'm ready to hit the road and, get to work.
Ohio State has 2 commitments in your class, the class of 2025. One of them, Jonte Gilbert, a defensive back, another guy like yourself, a long corner. Jonte can maybe play some safety. He's considering a lot of other schools still, talks to Alabama, talks South Carolina, Tennessee. Quarterback they just added last week when you were there. I think you probably got to meet Tavian St. Clair. What does it mean to you to help build a class? And is that something that you were even thinking about at all?
I mean, yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, I want to have that number 1 recruiting class. But I mean, right now, on the track they got, St. Clair and then Gilbert, those 2 top guys in my class. And like you said, I think Gilbert's probably one of the top safeties in my class, and St. Clair, another top quarterback. So I mean, they're doing their part now that they've committed, and they're going there. They're trying to get some of these other guys to come there with them. And I mean, if it does go and I do go to Ohio State, I mean, I will try to get some of these top dudes and on both sides of the ball, especially the receiver position, because like Coach Hartline said, I mean, you want to go against guys that are on your level and they can go to the league just as well as you can. So, I mean, if I do, it don't matter where I go, I'm going to try to get some dudes to go there with me that are top guys, just like me, top guys in this class.
I realized that the camp that you were at, it wasn't the best camp that they've had with wide receivers there. But I am curious because Tavian St. Clair, the recent 2025 commit, is an underranked player in my mind. He's not been seen by a lot of people nationally. And what were your thoughts on him as a quarterback, or when you got to meet him? Just did you have any sort of ability to really watch what he was doing, and did you have any thoughts?
I mean, like I seen him. He was one quarterback getting most of the reps. He got most of the reps at the QB position doing one-on-ones. I didn't really watch him, but the balls that I did see him throw, they were perfect balls. And I mean, even if the receiver didn't catch him, it was a good ball. And I mean, Ohio State got them a good quarterback in him, and that's a good commitment. And I feel like just at his size, at 6'3", he's about 210. That's what he looks like. And that's probably the perfect quarterback for them.
For you, the process is going to be long, and we know that. Has this taught you anything about yourself yet that as you're going through this, that you're learning, or is there a lesson that you've taken from the first year of this that you're using to guide your decision making from here?
Yes, I mean that kind of everybody kind of tells you the same thing. They all kind of want me in that way, and they don't want these other schools to get me. And I mean, I feel them. I mean, I'm top corner in my class, so why not fight like that and say certain things that they say? But I mean, it just opened my eyes wide that this recruiting and being this top dude and having all these schools talking to you is a big thing, and not that many people get it. So you gotta soak it all in.
I imagine that's stressful, but it's also probably hard to separate who's selling you lines versus and who's giving you BS versus who's being real with you. How do you and your family make the differentiation?
I mean, my dad kind of knows it because he went through it. He was a D1 corner too, so he kind of knows. I mean, both my parents were D1 athletes, so they kind of know that the real from the fake. And I mean, just throughout this journey, I've kind of realized what's real and what's not, and who's telling me the real and who's telling me the fake. And also in the film room, and I look at on who's telling me stuff that doesn't make sense and who's telling me stuff that does make sense. So I mean, it just shows a lot, and shows a lot of these coaches' character.
It has to be a challenge, man. I can't imagine how many phone calls you get every day, how many text messages you get a day, and you're not even at a point where you're allowed to be getting those messages most of the time. So it's even crazier to think about what's going to happen for you in these next 16 to 18 months. So really do appreciate you taking time to chat with us and give us a chance, man. So I'm going to let you get out of here on that note. That's Devin Sanchez. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology on the podcast. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.